All right, welcome to this week's edition of Mob Talk. I'm Dave Schratweiser.
And I'm George Anastasia.
George, a Mob Talk exclusive inside the Philly mob with a made guy.
Right, we're going to talk about some hits and some misses.
We're going to talk about a mob hit, attempted mob hit, years ago, caught on tape by the FBI, audio and video. Talk about that a little bit, just set that up.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the middle of the Stanford War, kind of which sets off the Stanford War, and you got the two factions, which at varying degrees still exist, and you've got an audio device inside the luncheonette, and you got a camera on a pole outside the luncheonette. So it's the only time in history that a mob hit's going down and being recorded simultaneously.
All right, now if you could take us there for a little bit, what was that all about to begin with? Why did that happen?
That happened because they wanted us to kill Stanford, Joey Chang, and they wanted to take over what was left of the Philly mob. And they believed that Stanford didn't have anything and wasn't entitled to be where he was at.
Your thoughts on all that? Trying to do something like that big, if Stanford had been there?
Well, listen, what happened with Nicky Jr., this was peanuts compared to what happened with Nicky Jr. Because you don't go after a mob boss's son or a mob boss's family. What he did with Stanford, they still believed that he wasn't entitled to be where he was at. So that was just icing on the cake if they would have took care of Stanford and Joey Chang. But you gotta remember, son, that was his brother. He wanted to kill his brother. And you gotta, if he could kill his brother, just like Nicky could kill everybody else, if he didn't trust you, if he could kill his brother, if Michael Chang could kill his brother, then nobody was safe in the street.
You would agree with that?
I mean, that's the question that always kind of hung over this thing. This is supposed to be family and honor and loyalty, and in this particular situation, you got brother going against brother. That kind of flies in the face of what the public perception of the organization is all about. It's not really family then, is it?
No, it's no honor amongst thieves. And especially when it comes to your family, like they tell you, this thing comes before your blood family and everything. If somebody calls you, you have to go anytime they call you. So if somebody tells you they want to kill their own brother or own father, what trust is there or what honor if you do the right thing all your life and they just don't like you, you're expendable.
The fact that all those guys are in on this hit really keeps it, though, tight-knit. Those are the old neighborhood guys, is it not?
Oh, absolutely. I'm not going to trust nobody. We wouldn't trust nobody. Like a guy like, I hate to bring this guy's name up, but like Ralph or Previty. We didn't know those two guys. I mean, really, they wouldn't have used them. A guy like Raji Vela. I don't know where Raji Vela came from, but they used him. I still till today, don't understand it. But it's like anything else, greed. They wanted money. A guy like Bobby Luisi from Boston. I heard stories. I wasn't around them. I don't know them from the street. But you want to give these guys titles for money? So it just shows you what kind of organization is out there now. What kind of people are out there now.
So you don't do a big job like this, George, with guys you don't know. You want guys you can trust. Well, I
mean, I think especially at that time, if you remember what was going on with the war between the Stanford faction and the Marino faction, the Marino guys were all guys that grew up together. It wasn't even about mafia. It was about the neighborhood you were from. These guys knew each other from grammar school, from high school. So their loyalty was to one another, not to the organization. And I think that's what was going on there. And I think it's kind of carried over, and that's why what we've got now is factions and disorganized, organized crime. The loyalty doesn't go to the mafia, Cosa Nostra, the organization. The loyalty goes to the guys you grew up with. And that's what those guys were always about.
All right, let's take us to today. Outside of Scafidi, everybody else is still in play here.
I mean, pretty much so. I mean, those guys they've gone away, they've done time. None of them have been convicted of the murders that they were accused of. They're all back on the streets now, and they're back doing business, whatever the business is, trying to legitimize themselves. But I think that core group is still there, and I think push comes to shove, they'll always be there. The question is, and this is something that revolves around the ongoing investigation, such as it is, are you going to be able to put enough pressure on any one of those guys to make them decide, my loyalty is not to the corner anymore, my loyalty is to me, I don't want to go back to jail? I don't think we're there yet.
Okay, let me ask you a quick question. Your thoughts anybody in that group, that neighborhood group, the guys who all grew up together, maybe doesn't want to go back to jail, and if faced with murder charges, decides to do the right thing, like Scafidi did.
Well, listen, you can't label somebody, especially, well, I guess you could, but you're really not supposed to label people in 2017 who's going to do what for the government, because you never know. Look at Phil Leonetti, look at Tommy Doe, I mean, look at other people that cooperated with the government. Listen, the smart ones will call the government. Because when they see the end is coming and the government's going to get the best of everybody, the smart ones will call them. Can I put a name on anybody? No, I can't.
And the other thing is the government's never going to go away. I mean, they're always going to be there. They're always going to be working these cases. Is that your perception, that even though nothing's happened, they're still out there churning and fishing? And
sure, George, and how about this? How about the people that are on the street now giving the government information that they're not going to come in? And the government knows everything that's going on, but they can't put it together and they can't put it in a courtroom right now. But they have all the information.
when that went down at the Warfield, and after the fact you learn there's an audio recorder in there, there's a camera in there, did anybody think about that ahead of time, or does that come as a total shock? And when you found out about it, how do you react to that?
A, they didn't find out until years later. B, from what I heard, and I'm not saying what I saw on TV or heard on TV or read in books, because that's all bullshit, okay? When you go kill somebody, you don't carry ID, you don't talk, you do certain things when you go after and kill somebody.
Right.
So what happened was, whoever went and tried to kill those people in there that day, there was a voice on there. And that's what you heard. And that's what the government had a little more evidence that they could have used. Now, when you found out Dayton's wife was in there after the fact, well, when you hear somebody screaming and it's a lady, you don't go kill. You don't point a gun and try to kill a lady. Again, this is what I heard, what I know. You know.
That really poked John Stanford the wrong way there, though. I mean, that really irked him, and that kind of set it off. We got into attempted bombings, other shooting, assassinations, things like that.
Sure, and also when they shot at him in his car, when his son was in his car. Yeah. Come on, you know what I mean? You know, innocent people on the highway. Come on, this is not the Wild West.
All right, it doesn't get any better than that. Right up in the inside of the Philly mob.
Only on Mob Talk. See you next time.